so you're all set to go, and we've got about 3 minutes, if that's okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Well, good morning, Kate. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, John.
Very excited about this whole thing. This is now 5th book, 6th book?
It's the 3rd one to hit the world. It's the first national book, which is pretty exciting for me.
Okay, because you've done the Lake Champlain historical, 2 of those.
Yep, 2 regional books, and this one was a little bit more universal in its appeal. So it's with Bloomsbury Walker, and came out September 1st.
Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z is what we're talking about, and I know you're having a big party, actually a whole series of them at area bookstores.
Yeah, we're going to kick it off tomorrow morning at Flying Pig Bookstore, a fabulous bookstore that specializes in kids' books in Shelburne, at 11 o'clock, and we're going to have a reading and book signing and Nana's famous funeral cookies from the book. I brought you some over there. And also for teachers and librarians who attend, a drawing for a free school or library presentation.
Yeah, and the reason the funeral cookies is Gianna's dad runs a funeral home in town.
Yeah, they run a funeral home out of the house, and Gianna's grandmother, who she calls Nana, lives with them and bakes Italian wedding cookies every time they have calling hours downstairs.
And sometimes leaves her teeth in the refrigerator, which is just a little bizarre. It's really, I started reading the book and I just started laughing out loud because having 3 daughters, I said, oh my gosh, this is what goes through their heads. It all makes sense. Especially, getting ready for the science project and sitting there and doodling and wishing you had, I said, Rebecca, this is you. You've got to read this book right now. This is you.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, every kid in the book. Gianna has this monster school leaf project that she's left to the last minute. And, of course, everything that can possibly go wrong does go wrong. A lot of funny things and some more serious family issues, too. A grandmother dealing with memory loss.
Right. And while she does have, she has a protagonist in the book, the obvious protagonist, real life is also the protagonist, and it's very well interwoven into the story, and I do appreciate the book. Even though it's for the 9 to 12-year-old set, I got a kick out of it too. So.
Well, it's one of those books I've already actually heard for some parents who are using it for mother-daughter book clubs and intergenerational book clubs because it does have that connection. So I appreciate that, John.
Well, good luck with it, Kate. I hope it sells a kajillion copies.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right, let me get this here and
98.9 WOKO, we're all about country. Boys from Rascal Flats, and feels like today it's a Friday on the morning roundup, kicking off the Labor Day weekend in style. She is an author and an educator, and yeah, she happens to be married to Tom Messner from News Channel 5. Kate Messner, welcome to WOKO.
Hey, CK, thanks a lot for having me.
It's our pleasure, putting a smile on our #1 listeners' faces. Now, Western New York, is it Medina, New York?
It is. That's where I grew up. Medina. Yeah.
You graduated, went to Syracuse University, got a degree in broadcast journalism, became a TV reporter, worked in the Salt City for a few years, moved to the Burlington-Plattsburgh area, worked at WPTZ. After 7 years, what did you start thinking?
That I wanted to stay in one place a little bit longer and be able to work with kids.
You loved always working with kids.
I always did, and I come from a family of educators, which is why I decided to go back to school and get into teaching.
You've been teaching English?
English, 7th grade English for 14 years now. This will be year 14.
So, what happened that you said, I'm a pretty good writer. I enjoy stories. I enjoy writing. I'm going to give this a go. What made you get into being an author?
Well, I've always written. Ever since I was 7 or 8 years old, I was the kid who would be at home in the summertime assigning myself reports about sharks. So, yeah, nerd. But I've always loved writing, and when I started teaching and started really reading a lot more middle grade and young adult literature and realizing what great stuff is out there, I decided I really wanted to get back into writing and write more seriously for publications. So
imagination is a great thing, isn't it?
It is.
Creativity. So your first book, a regional book called Spitfire, terrific book. Then you came out with Champlain and the Silent One. And then some people started recognizing you on more of a national basis. Explain about the Walker Books deal.
Well, this is The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z is my first national book. It's published by Bloomsbury Walker. And just came out September 1st, so it's very exciting. This is the one where I'm starting to get phone calls and emails from friends who live in other parts of the country saying, hey, I saw your book in Arizona or Florida or Chicago or any of those places, so that's pretty cool. This book was a little bit different from the first two that are set on Lake Champlain. It's also set in Vermont, but it's a modern book. It's more contemporary, and it's about a 7th grade girl who has left her leaf collection project to the last minute. Not that we know the kids would do anything like that. So it's one of those books that just any kid who's ever had a big school project can relate to, and was a little more national in scale. So.
Is there any of Kate Messner in this book?
Oh gosh, I think there's some of every author in every book they write. There's a little bit of me and Gianna. I do tend to be a little bit scattered from time to time, and Gianna Z is also, she's sort of a conglomerate of so many kids I've taught over the years who are smart and so funny and creative, but can't quite get it together when it comes to getting those traditional school projects done. So she's a funny character. She was a lot of fun to write.
Moms and dads are listening to the Morning Roundup now going, okay, is this book just for, say, 9 to 12-year-old girls?
The age recommendation is 9 to 12. It's not just a girl book, though. There's a really strong boy character. Gianna's best friend, Zig, is kind of a guy who gets her through. He's the more organized one. He's the kid who's always a good student, always on top of things. He's funny, too. He's an electricity whiz, so he's always, building motorized little things out of Legos.
Are you surprised at the success you've had so far, Kate?
It still all feels like a dream, and we've gotten to do some really cool things as a result of the books. We went out to Chicago. My publisher had me sign advance copies of The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z for librarians at the National Librarians Conference there this summer for ALA. Just have gotten to do some amazing things, and it does. It's a dream come true.
What's next as far as another book, the second book for the company? Can you let us know?
Yeah. I have actually a handful more books in the works. Next fall, I'll have 2 books coming out in fall 2010. Wow. One is another middle grade novel called Sugar on Snow, and it's a book about a figure skater from a small town maple farm who earns a scholarship to train with the elite in Lake Placid. That's another middle grade novel. And then I also have a picture book for younger readers, for little kids, coming out next fall, called Over and Under the Snow. And it's about a girl who goes on a cross-country ski trip and discovers the secret world of animals living under our snow in the Northeast.
For those 2 books, do you start on one and you just go right through till that one's ended, or do you leave that first one and then go to the second? How's that process?
Once a book is sold, it comes back to you over and over again.
Okay.
So I've been going back and forth with, I work with editors at actually 4 different publishers, and the books kind of get emailed back and forth with suggestions and changes, so I'm always working on several at a time.
You're a teacher, you do your writing, you try to keep track of Tom and Ella and Jake. How do you manage to do it all?
I write at night after the kids are in bed, and a lot of people are stunned that you can get books written from 9 to 11 at night, but that's pretty much what I do. I'm pretty dedicated to that, and just those hours.
The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z, it got released on September 1st, you said.
Yep.
You're going to be at various places around the area over the next few days. Can you let us know?
Yeah, we're going to be at Flying Pig Bookstore in Shelburne tomorrow morning at 11. It's our big launch party, and everybody's invited. 11 o'clock. We're going to do a reading and book signing. We're going to have Nana's funeral cookies from the book.
By the way, thank you for those. Those are terrific. And when you do find out about Kate's Nana's funeral cookies, she does not. She uses real butter.
Right. It's about the only thing I do use real butter for.
Real butter. She doesn't put that imitation stuff in. Go ahead.
Yep. So we're going to do cookies. We'll have some really fun hands-on leaf identification activities for kids, and teachers and librarians who come to tomorrow's launch will be entered for a drawing for a free school or library presentation. Sunday, going to be at the Bookstore Plus in Lake Placid at 2 o'clock for a reading and signing. And then next Friday, September 11th, the kickoff day for Battle of Plattsburgh weekend, I'll be at the Coffee Cat in Plattsburgh for our Plattsburgh lunch party from 4 to 6.
You're passionate about this, aren't you?
I've loved kids' books since I was, able to hold one. So to be a part of that world is pretty exciting.
And has your husband, Tom Messner, ever given you an idea? Kate, what do you think about, I got a story in my head about this weather kid who gets bitten by a tiger cub at a country fair.
Believe me, I take notes.
It's called The Brilliant Fall of Gianna Z. Can we get it? Where can we get it, by the way?
Pretty much any favorite bookstore. If they don't have it right away, they'll order it for you.
And a website, or you can go online to find out more about the book and you?
Yep. www.katemessner.com.
If you need more information, just give us a call here in the Morning Roundup. Kate Messner, thank you for joining us at WOKO.
Thank you for having me, CK. Great to see you.
It's 8:15. Keith Urban, Only You Can Love Me This Way next. Good.